Previously, I created a video and showed you how to set up and use LastPass. And I have another one on how to set up and use Bitwarden. This video is all about how to set up and use 1Password. They're all three password management tools. They all have their own little style of doing it, but the bottom line is these are very secure ways and very easy ways once you start using them, easy and secure ways to manage passwords on your laptop, your computer. And if you're in some instances, if you have the right subscription, you can have the same tool on your iPad, your iPhone, and multiple devices. Typically, multiple devices means you have to pay for the tool to be able to do that. Let's go through the process of setting up a 1Password account and then show you the basic steps to add passwords into the system and to use passwords that are in your 1Password vault. So let's get started right here. So really, I want to show you this. View the plans. You don't need extended access. You need Password Manager for most people. These are for individuals, and I recommend you do this for yourself, your wife, your kids, and your grandparents or your parents. A great tool for senior citizens to use once you have it set up, because they don't need to worry about remembering passwords, especially if you help them set it up. Typically, you're going to want an individual license. This is $2.99 when you pay annually, which is basically $36 a year. You have to pay for 1Password. There is no free version. I do get 14 days to experiment with it. If you have family members, you can have up to 5 family members. You pay basically $4.49 a month. You know, that's what is that? That's just under $60 a year. So it's a great way to have a tool that we all learn how to use, and we can protect and manage our individual passwords. So I recommend at the very least you do the $2.99 in the context of using 1Password. So let's go ahead and try it for free for 14 days. So the first step is that you have to add the extension to Google Chrome. Extensions are basically code on your web browser. You can do this in Chrome, you can do it in Firefox, you can do it in Safari, you can do it in Microsoft Edge. And so extensions plug into your browser so that it pays attention to what website you're going into in the event. It needs to either save a password for you when you're logging in, or pull from the vault and give you the login information that you need. That's the magic. So I'm going to add the extension. It takes me to the Chrome Web Store. I have to hit Add to Chrome. It says it's going to read and change data, display notifications, manage your downloads, etc., etc. This is all useful stuff. Add extension. Now, what happens, before we go any further, what happens is it added it up here in the extension manager. If I click on this right here, you can see 1Password is in here. I don't want that hidden in here. This is an important enough extension that I want it up front. So I have to click the pin, and you'll see it puts it right there in front. And I'm not logged in yet. That little lock means I'm not logged in yet. But let's keep going. So my name, my email address. What's my name? What's my email address? If I click Get Emails from 1Password, I think it'll subscribe me to their news, and I may enjoy 25% off the first year. That would be nice. So let's hit Next. Now it sent a code to my email address. Hang on, let me go get that code. Here's the code, 066879. Code changes every time. 1Password security is unique and strong. Now, 1Password requires a password to the account and a secret key. You need both of these for 1Password to work. Now, you only use the password to get into the account. You will not use the secret key for anything. For the most part, you're only going to need to use a password, but you need them both. So let's go through the process. I need a password. So I have my password. I already typed it out over here. So I have a 12-character uppercase, lowercase, etc., and numbers and extended characters. I got that there. It likes it. It's 10 or more. Let's confirm it. Put it in there. And then I'm going to hit Create Account. And by the way, note this, for your protection, we cannot reset forgotten passwords. This is important to remember. So make sure you document that password in a very safe place that you can get to easily. And then you also make sure no one else gets to it. So I'm going to hit create account. Now, the next thing it needs is this secret key. It's generated by your own device. It's yours. You never share it. But when you generate this key, look what happens here. It says, here's your key, and it shows me the first part of it. You need to save this key so that you never lose it. You need to make sure save it as a PDF. You need to make sure you never lose that key. So what I do is I go up here and get this file right here. But I want to put that somewhere where it's safe. So I'm going to go to Documents. I'm going to go to Dropbox. I'm going to go to Teddy's stuff. And I'm going to save it right here. So I've saved it so that I can always get back to it if I need to get back to it. So let me close that down. So I've created my secret key, and then I went through the steps of get that file and save that file in a safe place that I can always get to. By the way, a safe place you can always get to is not just on your device. I put it in Dropbox so that I can get to it from any of my devices, but also protect my Dropbox account. Let's go to the next step. Next. Now it wants me to pay because in 14 days, it's no longer free. And it wants to know where I am. I'm going to say the United States. I don't know if I need to do this right now, but I'm going to. But I'm also not going to pay right now. I'll say add payment method later. If you're serious about using 1Password, I recommend you go ahead and pay for it now. You can always cancel it if you need to cancel it. But I really would recommend that if you're serious about using this for yourself, serious about setting it up for a loved one, go ahead and do the payment method. For me, I'm going to skip it and do it later. Now it says, welcome. Let's get your new account ready. So I'm going to hit continue. So I've added the account. I recommend you look at the tutorials, but I'm basically going to show you what the tutorial shows you when I do it here. It wants me to pin the 1Password extension to the browser. I've already done that. And then wants me to continue to set up 1Password. Now you're ready at this point. They're ready to use 1Password. So I can open the web app or open 1Password. So if I open the web app, it brings up the whole page. And because I'm logged in to 1Password in my extension, you can see I'm logged in because the little lock is gone. It logged me right into it. So I'm in the site. Browser's unlocked. Automatically log me in. I don't need to know that anymore. Now, I call it the dashboard. They call it the password manager screen. You can see that I can add a new vault, but I don't need to add a new vault because I have a personal vault right here. So if I open that personal vault, you'll see in the personal vault, let's improve 1Password. It wants me to share. I'm going to confirm I don't want to do that. You can see in the vault, it has my ID information and it has my login. Interestingly enough, my login to 1Password is in here. So I don't really need that at this point. So let's just ignore that for a minute and let's go and do the steps of adding something to your vault. So there's two ways of add information. We'll talk about passwords primarily. Number one way is click add a new item, and the other way is actually log in and capture while you're logging in. Let's add a new item. There's lots of items you can add. I can do login, secure, note, credit card, etc., etc. Look, show more. This is really cool. Bank account, membership information, password, passport, social security number, the wireless router ID. Lots of information you can put in here, which may be useful if you're helping to manage an older adult's information. You may want to put all that in here. You can, medical record information, you can add a document. One of the things we do is for the family we manage is that we have all their medicines listed in a document and it's dated. So we know when it was updated. You may want to put that document in here. All that information in one place so that you can manage it. And not only can you manage it on their devices, but you can also open it up on your own devices or just log in to my1password.com and get to their data from another computer. So I'm going to just do a login. So if I do a login, it wants to name it. So let's do Facebook. I'm going to log into Facebook. Now, it wants to know my username and password for Facebook. So I'm going to use my username. And what's my password? Hang on. It wants to create a new one, but I'm trying to enter a new item. I already have this password. Let me go get the password. Give me a second. So I have my password. I'm going to paste that in there. Interesting enough, when you paste it in there, you can see it, and that's fine, but you notice I didn't let you see it. So it wants to know what's the website I want to log into. Well, I'm going to log into www.facebook.com. This is manually adding it. I'll show you how to automatically add it in a minute. When you go to that, you can see right here, it wants to know autofill behavior. It says use this information to autofill anywhere, in this case to facebook.com. Maybe it's facebook.com/login. Maybe only on the specific website URL that I put there, or never autofill. But I'm going to say by default, I want it to autofill on this website. So I can add another website if I want to. I can add more. I can add a security question if I want to validate it's me doing it. What's the text? What's the email address? Et cetera, et cetera. I don't necessarily need any of that. You can see it's going to put it in my personal vault. Now, if I had two vaults, maybe I had a business vault and a personal vault, it could put it in either one of those. But for the average user, I think a single vault is all they really need. And at this point, I just hit save. So I've added Facebook to 1Password. Let's go see what happens when I use this now. So I go to facebook.com. So when I bring up facebook.com, because I have the extension running, it automatically shows me that I have a login for Facebook stored in 1Password. So I click on that. It puts the email address, it puts the password, and I can actually look at the password in here if I want to, but I can just simply click login. And it takes me right straight to Facebook. Now, let me show you, that was manually entering in password information into 1Password's vault. Let me show you the other process. The other process is that because I have 1Password running, when I go to sign in this case to LinkedIn, I'll show you what happens, because 1Password is going to want to capture that information. Give me a moment to go get my login information. So I'm going to sign into LinkedIn with TL Burris at teddyburris.com. It wants to save it in 1Password. I prefer to type the password first and then click save in 1Password. What happens if I skip that for right now and hit sign in? Look what happens. I hit sign in, and over here, 1Password wants to save this login to my personal vault. I'm going to hit save. And now it's saved. So two different ways of adding passwords. One is, and you can see my LinkedIn passwords over here now. One is to manually hit from the 1Password.com, add a new item. The other way is to go log into a site, and as you log into the site, it's going to capture your password information and save it in 1Password. By the way, once you have all your passwords saved in 1Password, you can click on any one of these passwords, and you can see over here, if I hover over the website, I can click open, and it's going to open up password of Facebook. It's going to tell me that it has a password. I click on that, and I hit login. 1Password. It's different than LastPass. It's different than Bitwarden, but they're all the same. It's password management. It's the ability for you to manually add new password information or any kind of content you want to capture. It's the ability for you to log into a site, and as you're logging into it, to capture the login information and save it in 1Password. So that as long as you have the extension running on your browser, when you go to log into a site, it's going to pull up the login information, so you don't have to remember passwords or have passwords written all over sticky notes or all over a list that you have somewhere. It's all right there in front of you on the computer that you're using, with the browser that you're using, with the extension running. By the way, something really important, I recommend that you protect your devices. And if you're using 1Password or any password management on a device, you want to lock down that device so that not anyone can get to it. I have a very secure password on all of my devices so that my device is secure, which adds to my password management being secure. I'm Teddy. I'm sharing with you different tools that you could use. I hope this is helpful for you.